Well, I took an unexpected swim in Pearl Harbor that day, that's for sure.
What can you tell me, starting when you woke up that morning?
Yeah. Well, I was wrapping Christmas presents. I worked in the medical office as a secretary at the time. And the alarm sounded, and I picked up my first aid kit and went to my battle station on the third deck. By the time I got there, the ship had already listed about 5 degrees. And so I knew something was wrong. And my 4 stretcher bearers showed up, and at about 15 degrees list, we decided we were on the port side, which is the lower side. We better go to the starboard side, and we did, and lined up with the damage control party. At 45 degree list, somebody hollered, "Let's get out of here." And the line started moving. When it came my turn, I didn't have to climb the ladder, I just walked up the bulkhead. Bulkhead, Navy term for watertight wall. But I got outside, dropped my first aid kit, and kicked off my shoes and dove into the water and swam pretty fast to get out from under the roll of the ship because it was rolling down on top of me. But I came up in a pool of oil, which got in my eyes. So I ducked underwater and swam with my eyes open twice and cleared the eyes. And by then I'm at least 150 feet away from the ship and in clear water. And I turned to look and see what was going on, and I remember smoke at that time. But I heard a couple of machine guns, and I turned around and looked, and here's the airplane coming right at me with its gun blazing. 2 wing guns. And I saw the red ball on the wing, so I knew it was Japanese. After that, a motor launch came around and picked me up and a lot of other swimmers. And when he had a full load, he beached on what I believed to be Goat Island, and we were able to get off at the bow and walk ashore. And I remember walking ashore, and I remember turning to look, and then I don't remember anything. I went into shock. I collapsed, and this happened, I'm guessing, before 9 o'clock in the morning. And the next time I'm aware of time, it's 11:30 almost. I came out of shock, and my uniform of the day was t-shirts and Bermuda shorts. And the t-shirt was full of oil, so I took it off and threw it away, and took off my Bermuda shorts, turned them inside out, and started wiping the oil off my face and head. I soiled them so badly I had to throw them away. So I took off my undershorts, boxer underwear, and I'm wiping myself pretty good. And a female voice behind me says, "Can you use a towel, sailor?" I was, Goat Island had married quarters on it. That's why that woman was there. But anyhow, she draped a towel over my shoulder. And I put my boxer shorts back on, and she wiped down my back and my legs for me. Then she led me to a bridge that led to the submarine base and enlisted barracks. And some sailor took charge of me, took me to a shower, and got rid of the oil. And then some other sailor my size gave me a dungaree shirt and pants, and some other sailor gave me a pair of sandals. And that was my uniform until Christmas Day. But anyhow, our commanding officer, who had just been relieved and was still on the islands, picked up all the postcards that he could find, and he's looking for Oklahoma sailors. And of course, he knew me because I used to give him Swedish massages every time we went to sea. At least every other day I was in his cabin, rubbing him down. But anyhow, he gave me a card and says, address it and put a short note on it, and I'll mail it when I get into the States, since he was going to the States the next week. And so that's what I did. Then I caught a motor launch, run out to Fort Island, and there was no bridge to the island at that time. So I'm figuring, well, I'm thinking the Japanese were landing troops, and I'm thinking that to be the last place that they can do anything with me. Of course, I learned later that night that wasn't any landing. But the next day, I went to the hospital, and the chief master at arms there recognized me because I'd worked at the hospital while he was still there. And he put me to work on a burn ward. We had some guys that were 80% burned, and of course they didn't live. We didn't have the know-how that they lost a lot of fluid, of course, and a couple of them died every night. But on the 16th of September, I got orders to go to an Army transport, and we loaded every patient that could travel and headed for San Francisco, and we arrived on Christmas Day. I tried to call home, couldn't get through, so I went to Western Union and sent a telegram. And the telegrapher already knew that there was 26 of us homeless corpsmen that was in town that day, doing like what I did, taking care of patients en route to San Francisco. And we were transferred to the USS Henderson, which is the Navy transport, and we went to the executive officer there and told him that we needed some uniforms and we needed some money, and we needed a Liberty Pass. We found out it would be 4 days before the ship left. But we had a Liberty Pass that was good for those 4 days. And that's what happened. The supply officer opened up small stores and gave us uniforms, of course, no rating badges, but dress blues. And the executive officer gave us a special pass saying that we'd been in Pearl Harbor and we were without uniforms, and we were not to be picked up by the Shore Patrol for being out of uniform. So I went ashore, and like I said, I couldn't call, and so I sent a telegram to the folks, and the telegrapher says, "You better wait, you're going to get an answer, sailing." Sure enough, 15 minutes or come an answer, and $35. And $35 was a lot of money to my folks in those days. But anyhow, I went into the Brass Rail, an old Navy hangout, and of course I couldn't spend my money. Everybody wanted to buy me a drink. I went to the Rialto Hotel, which I'd been there before in 1940, and stayed there. Somebody paid my hotel bill. Anyhow, when I went back aboard the Henderson to go back to the States, I still had $42 on me. All I'd spent was money for the telegram.